Hello everyone. I want to thank you guys for joining me in this healing meditation video. My name's Eva. Today we're going to focus on opening up already, just taking the opportunity to take some deep breaths in and out of your heart space to your whole being. Opening up all of your channels and meridians of light, opening up all DNA strands, knowing you are perfectly safe. You are safe in the eternal light. Love has no opposite. Love is ever extending as itself. Open up to the awareness that you are love, that you are creation. At one with all creation, allowing yourself to relax, allowing yourself to let go. That is the focus of this meditation. How much we are, if our intention is to be aware of ourselves where we are free, to be truly free to create in the now, we are called to really let go of the past. Really, really let go. Like, not say we let go and then perceive all of the information that we are given in sets here in this material reality as working out, being fearful, expecting that it's going to work out like the past. That's not forgiveness. That is not undoing. That is not letting go. We are being called to really bring up to the light the belief that we have that tells us that we can't let go of the past, that tells us that we have to hold on to all of these structures, all of these limits, all of these barriers that we have created against the truth of what we are, that we have created against our eternal being, that we have created against love. All of the blockages that we have, all of the beliefs, blockages are beliefs, all of the beliefs we hold that tell us that we are not love and that we are not worthy of love. Remembering, love is the ultimate reality. Love is the force of creation. Love is. You are. So in this great work of undoing, of revelation, of remembering ourselves and our oneness with each other, but the oneness with each other is paramount. It's incredibly important. It cannot be done. This work cannot be done without it. Understanding the oneness within self, within the different areas, the different, right, light, we see ourselves in different lights, right? Different circumstances, different people, to really different times. Again, I sometimes touch on this, like the focus on past lives of all of different galactic narratives and stuff like that, focusing on all of those aspects of self as unified, bringing that into the now. The work of forgiveness is to bring it into the light of the truth of the now. We don't want to hold anything against this freedom, this expansion. There are no activations, there are no real downloads. That kind of negates and points to a belief that there's something outside of you that could be giving information to you outside of the self. It is where you choose. This is so important. It is about recognizing and realizing and remembering the power of your own mind and the power of choice that you have, and how your choice creates form, creates the experience that you have. Giving into beliefs of magic, of supernatural activity that is coming from outside of yourself to give you information, is negating your free will. It is sidestepping yourself. That sounds extreme, but if we really, really want to do the work of being free, of freeing ourselves from these narratives, we really need to look at how it is that we're creating. We talk about, this all kind of came forward in something I wrote this morning that I haven't put anywhere yet, but it's all very connected. I'd like to talk about The Matrix. I love that movie, but that is not the way that it is. Our bodies are what the illusion is. Our bodies are not somewhere else, and we're not being siphoned in that way. We are creating with our choice this false world out of our belief in fear, projecting from us, and our bodies are part of that projection. Understanding that ascension, like full ascension is really not what this time is. This is ascension out of the material realm of fear. Full ascension would be like to dissolve the body completely, which is not really where it is where the focus is to be healed. That is the ultimate goal. Enlightenment would be to like drop the form and just be, simply to be in the awareness of love, which is certainty, which is non-action, which is non-duality. There's no form, there's no perception. It's not consciousness, it is. So just understanding maybe that can help to take some of the pressure off of what we're doing here. We're not being called to like can change a reality completely in such a way that would be like really shocking to the system, because it's important to understand, in understanding the power of our mind, and I might have said something like this before, but understanding the power of our own belief in our productions of what we've made here. That is a great undoing. I say that because it's a lot of work, but what we need to understand is that it is possible for us to simply let it go. That there is no force outside of ourselves that is telling us that we have to be hyper-focused in continued expansion of fearful narrative stories. All myth, all archetype is within distorted narrative duality, because it always has an aspect of fear that we think gives it meaning. We are being called to look at these things. So allowing yourself to simply be open and willing to the possibility that there's another way to perceive form, that there is a creation possible without limits as we place them on the material, as we place them in discrete markings of time. This is not how creation works. Creation is unified with all forces. This is possible in a world of form. This is where we are moving. In order to do this, you must give up your belief in your identity as separate. You must be willing to begin to let go and unravel your belief in your identity as strictly the limits of your body. You must be willing to begin to let go of your story of your life as you know it. So whatever that means for you, whatever you're feeling drawn to now, understanding that it's not really like, sometimes we talk about it like this as visual representation to assist, but you don't bring the light down into the illusion. You bring the illusion into your awareness to be shown what it is, to be willing to see it for the nothing that it is. This is difficult because we believe that they're real. Everything that you believe, that you've taken on as a belief for yourself, is real to you. And that is the same for every other being here on earth. These are opportunities for you to witness the level of making or creating, whether it's in fear, separation, or in love without limits. These are opportunities for you to see how that is happening and how you and your conscious choice is making it happen. So that you can say, okay, when something you perceive to be happening is fearful, is scary to you, is triggering to you, is making you uncomfortable, is losing your peace, understanding also, if you really want to be healing and healed, that there's no degree of difficulty, there's no degree of worse. If you are losing your peace, you are not aware of your peace. It doesn't matter what has done that. You're not at peace. This is about understanding that you have the power in all moments. People ask me about shadow work and making guides for shadow work. These are the guides. This is the work. The work is in your consciousness, your conscious choice at the level of perception. It is to Move from false perception, understanding all perception is representational, into aligned perception with love. Love has symbols. Everything here in this realm is symbolic. Love has symbols just as fear does. And these messages might sound repetitive, but we need to constantly remind ourselves for as long as we feel fear. If you feel fear, you don't really believe this. You're beginning to, but there's lots of parts of self that don't, or else there would be no resistance to it and you would give it up gladly. So we open ourselves to the mere possibility that we could let it go. You've opened the door then. Yayi shanaina mani naina indoaisini shini sanayun toish no sayokuat shu yinit. And from this eternal now moment, Hianduashni Mishiti Kindayo Guariti Kindayat. I was on an airplane yesterday and I decided to watch Interstellar again, which I haven't seen in a long time. And if you haven't seen the movie, I would watch it. But there's a moment that I don't want to ruin anything, but there's a moment where one of the characters is essentially like dropped into what this movie has constructed as like a physical representation of time, and he can like move about and influence it. It's almost like that, if you've seen that movie, of where you can use as a visual aid to see yourself, where you are directing. It's kind of like my analogy sometimes where I say it's like taking off the side of a really big apartment building and seeing all of the things happening there at once. That you can direct your love, your beingness as love, to all of these places at once, but you have to be really willing to undo them. You have to be willing to no longer look at them. You cannot keep one form of upset and let go of the others. It doesn't work that way. You can't be self-righteous in one way and hold yourself superior in one way and humble yourself in all of the others. You cannot be mad at one person and then say you are equally loving to all because of this horror that you've perceived that one aspect of the human has done. It is, when I say we heal at one, as one or not at all, this is part of what that means. It's all parts of self. You can't hide one part of self that you're embarrassed about, that you don't want to look at, or shameful or guilty for something that you believe you've done. Is the same way that we choose sometimes one or two people who were like absolutely not unforgivable. We do that in our own internal aspects of self too, whether it's a personality trait, or I'll give an example of myself. Like, I'm from New Jersey. I live in Colorado. There are cultural differences everywhere in the world, and sometimes I know that I talk fast. I know that I will just talk to anybody. And then sometimes people react, and you're like, oh God, dang, I was so embarrassing. Just be quiet. Just don't try to be less No, these simple things. When we find ourselves doing that, this is shadow work as I see it. That when you find yourself doing those things, you are given in that moment the opportunity to heal yourself. You don't have to go digging around in the past and past narratives. If there's something that's occurring in this now moment that is making you lose peace, you are being shown where it is that you need to bring love. That is based on many, many, many eons of built up belief in the system. We think our egos just pop out with our body, but this is a whole structure, and the whole ego structure is built by this whole samsara, right? This whole off bubble that is just a bunch of sleeping minds that are having a shared dream of fear. But it's all wrapped up. It keeps spinning itself together like a yarn weave that's all jumbled. You can't discern what's coming from where, and so it doesn't matter. It's not about blame anyway. It's about taking personal responsibility for how you have given yourself away to fear. it really can all happen through the self. It is in an internal process that we see the way it is projected outward. Tisayu korwin daisna, shu ruhi taini shinisa nakin dayoti, shuin daisaya, nia orwin duaishi. And for guides on shadow work, I would say the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles is out there. It is super powerful. I resonate with that probably more than any other written thing. I don't use it as strictly as I used to, but when I need more structured assistance, I always go back to the Course. I flip open the Course. I'm reading from the Course a lot, but in terms of like doing the lessons every day, I've been with it for years. It's such a tool. It's such a resource. It's already out there. If you identify with my work, you will identify at some level with the Course in Miracles. This is Christ. This is Christ as a unified field, as a sonship, as a one son, God having one, but I say S-U-N, one soul at this level. It's really about seeing yourself in light, seeing yourself in truth. What I believe revelation of the truth is that you are endless, you are eternal. It's not about revealing horrible things. It's about revealing the truth of what you are, which is just endless love. Niash misni. Will horrendous things come out? Yes. You have to be willing to see them. It's part of the work of being able to perceive the false as false. The more you can look at it without reacting to it, the more you believe that it is not real, that it has no power over you. Shi si snatrita rit itandrihina undu undiashnisi. Sinda orruindu shorruntayasnati. You must empower yourself. I do have the power to choose to see things differently. There is always another way to see the world. I will not let the evidence of fear, the symbols of fear, convince me into giving up my inherent beingness, which you can't really do, but you can convince yourself otherwise. Shini sani nantitit, you can choose to perceive yourself separate. Yes, we do. Miarayit. Arindayoti kani shini sani kana, santahita uruhiti shini sana uruharin indayot. I was just doing a session for someone before this, and the message came through. Iti ati orwindi somashokina sani kana kindahita karaki atishi kiot. We so much want to understand illusion. It's not going to make sense. Look for yourself where you are. Yinishit. How much do you want to keep suffering? Kitakorukurkayasnat. Diriti. Shita sainite hinta karahitu yosu yoshupiotoruto. Suruntit. Stop looking for evidence of yourself in a world made out of fear that is designed to keep you from seeing yourself. That's going to come from inside the house. Kinashini sini sini. And then you will see with your right perception the organic code that is underneath of everything here, because everything is made out of God, because there's nothing else that exists. Shinisani kanatu orihini antisini shinisin disna satishi. Now remember, you only have to be a little bit willing to open to this possibility for it to begin to show you that it is the truth. You don't believe it because I said so. Shinisani and dahinat, and you won't anyway. We don't believe until it becomes an experience for us. Shiasniti. That's why I say you only need to be a little bit willing to open. And the more you focus on that willingness, the more you open that door up, you'll come back and tell me. I don't need to tell you. Shinisani karitit. My goal is for you to see yourself in the true one light as you are, so that you don't need me as an intermediary. You will access. It is you. There's nothing keeping you from it except your own attention elsewhere. Shia ratu kondiat. We don't believe this. Shinisani kantisni shinis nandratu korru hari hariata. When we have that one thing, or those two things, there's those real deep stickers. We feel them real deep. We think, oh, that thing, that must have an answer somewhere in this physical world that's going to make me free of it. No, it's not. Shorohantis nash intis ni sini shanikini. Sindit, it's just as unreal as every other fear. Shikarahuru araina shan sita rihinishni sindikit. Be open to the belief that you are worthy enough to let them go, that you're worthy to be free of them because you don't need them. Kikarahu arait. Soruntat, that you are free to forgive. Shinisani kanti, that you are safe to forgive. That your beingness as love is the only protection that you need. That there's nothing that could come against that force. There is no death. Shis as natruantu inta ish istahi. Rait oruntuan dishini. Santishi, Santishya, Santishya. It's letting go of that ego mind control program of limits of the material, that we believe that the evidence required, that what is required of us is to continue to do things in this physical world. And that it's only when you see the evidence in the physical that it has become real. That is the opposite of how it actually works. It's never in the effect. Shinisani kanta arrahito runtiat. Orviti kiarinda ish. Si yutu. If you're holding all of these limits, you're not going to see beyond the limit. Just try to let it go and see what happens. See for yourself. Kinaino, Dishini, Doruhiti, Sini Shani, Kantiata, Ariata Saya, Shao Ruini, Mantasni Dit, Kintayo, Shintayat, because you are already in that awareness. That awareness is one. It is where your code is. You're coded everywhere. Kinasuni Shini Sini Kinti, you are one with the code. Shini Sani Kandisna Hina Shani Kanahidisi Diditari. Rito rondo rohitat. Shiki arihindi. Bisiritish. And just because the matrix isn't like a one-to-one representation of what I believe is happening here, doesn't mean that there aren't really helpful things in these representational art forms. Yes, that moment where Neo's like, I don't know. I don't believe this is happening. That is such a powerful moment. Does not everything shift then at that moment when he decides, no, I don't, Morpheus is taken? No, I don't believe this is happening. I believe because I have been shown that this is a false world, that I, reading the code, which I wrote in a different dimension, is within my power to rewrite and reorchestrate, to free myself from it. And to free others from it, because that is within your power as well, because others are one with us. When you meet them at the level of where we are one, you are meeting them where we are one life. You claim your life as one with theirs. It is for the extension of all beings. It is not manipulation and control. It is love. It is just to remind others where they are. It doesn't mean that they need to choose that, or that you have any control over them choosing that. It's an offering. But it frees your perception of them and of yourself, because that is one. It's so difficult because we so believe in our material creations. But once you let your focus go of the material world, you will begin to see how we create with these templates, blueprints, code, different dimensional forms. However this comes across to you, again, it's all representational. It's going to look, I think, slightly different to other people, although there's a lot that people perceive and share. Focus on the creation more than anything else, these messages that I receive and I have for years, they are expanding in different ways as I continue, actually listen to them and follow them, is to focus on the creation. Focus on creation. Ask what creation is and be shown. Because it's not production. It's not with your ego. Yantikoruki. Shuruntis not. When there is another way to see the world, there is another way to perceive the world. That means there's another way of form. Kina oruhati. Shuruhantis nata. Yatu ruhuaraitishi. But to believe, just let a little kernel of belief that you're worthy of letting go of every burden that you feel. Asking yourself where the belief is in you that you are not worthy of letting that go, and that there is some kind of reason that you would have to hold on to that forever. Ask yourself where that came from, and yourself will show you, and then you bring that to the light of the truth. Si shayunoin disnat, do ruhit, shinisani kantayo to shanisana, kina yina shini, sintaya sukina, tintiti kindi, oruiti, o ruhinashi, misnayani shanaina, suntayisna shinisnain, indayot uayosh unsuntishnisna, shinisunti shini, mindisni, shondoesni shana, shondisnisnindritik. Because it's not about, we talk about dissolving past timelines. And then people want information. Understand these past timelines are written in fear code. What information do you want to learn from fear? True creation is available to you. Shisnisnayat. The remembrance is in the remembrance of the unity. All of the unified fields of these 12 dimensions in this universe are coded. You are at every level of this. It's all you. You exist in all of these forms. You have access to this code. It's not about recovering the past as much as it is expanding into awareness. It's not recovering fearful timelines. All history is an echo of the same. Everything repeats because we haven't seen that we can let it go. So anything that you're going to try to uncover from uncovering details of illusion is just going to be more illusion. Unraveling it to get to the core belief without attachment is sometimes necessary, yes. Without attachment. If the goal is not the details of the information of the illusion. The goal is to see enough so that you can remember that you made it. Because it's only at the level of mind where it came from that it can be released. You got to trace that back to where you did that. But don't be attached to the vision or the clairs, the supernatural magic. That's not the focus. You have no idea what you will be capable of when you let go of what you think that means. Shinisnahyoruhat, sunti shinisani kanti, sinashnisnindriko rutiat, sitayoto korihin, shnayat antis natatayok orukoat, oruindu anduondoruhini, shuntisni shinis nontisna shin. Shikindo korkundik, sukita korkurundi tisni, tiri ari nindirisni shinisnat, sititikia, naritisha, so rayot, or rohit, rayot, or rundushnis nandrahit. It'll come right fast when you let go of what you think it is. Or what you think it looks like, and all of the disappointment that people feel. So many people ask me to send them activations. Let go of what you believe you need to be perceiving, or the way you think you should be perceiving, or what it means to perceive in light. Pure love is not of perception. So any vision is temporary. Shaki arrehintayat, tisnash isnati inti, ikiot ohini intayas, sontash asnas itayatot, kita koro indishinitintia, nis nish iri. The more you expose yourself to the light of the truth, the more these past timelines are dissolved, because you're not focusing on them anymore by wanting to create out into illusion, by wanting to attach and understand to illusion. Shift your focus to pure creation. You are allowed. You are encouraged by your higher self to do so. You are encouraged by the representatives of the One, which are all us. It is ourselves. It is self calling to self. It is home calling to home. Tisi hishini, borwihiti, to expand, to be one again, to be one in remembrance, so that we can be aligned the way that we were meant to be. Nishini tianti, just a little bit of willingness. Mishana kanasini, it will show you. Yourself will show you. It's not coming from someplace else. It is yourself. Claim it as yourself. Intervention is possible. Assistance, of course. But for you, if there's a goal, the goal is for you to claim it for yourself. That's when you can begin to wield it. And it's very possible. It is your natural state. But don't be too hard on yourself. It's a process, right? There's a lot that we are unraveling. That's where this detachment, this non-judgment of self comes in. This is a practice. I think everyone, probably myself included, even though I do this all day, should be focusing more on that. More on quiet stillness, more on meditation, more on the expansion, more on these realms of creation, which we are one with. We are rising there. We are letting go of the baggage that is keeping us down, and we are truly, this is creation, creating out into something new. And I think we're going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for joining me, for listening, for making it to this point if you have, for supporting the channel. Please, I don't usually ask, but if you do feel so called and you do enjoy the work, to like and subscribe if you feel called, because I think it does kickstart the algorithm. I don't know how those things really work, but we must let go of our, talk about letting go of grievances. We have to let go of our grievances with social media and artificial intelligence algorithms, which are coded in fear as well. Letting go. And yes, if you feel called, there's many ways that we can work together, do one-on-one sessions available for booking on my website. There's also recorded healings, which are really popular, and I really love doing them, and I think they're really expansive. They really let you, I think sometimes when people haven't done this kind of work before, or are trepidatious, is that a word? Feel trepidation about doing this work. Sometimes live sessions I can feel it a lot before we start sometimes, that people get really nervous, and it keeps them from sort of allowing themselves to open into the peace of that space. And sometimes for an entree into it, recorded sessions can be helpful, because then you can kind of see what it's like without feeling the need to say anything at all. So yes, I would love to meet you there. And what else? Oh, the next free group is the first Sunday of November. that's already available for booking on my website. I'm gonna have to get back to everybody who came to the first one to see if that link still works. I haven't checked that yet, but if you feel called and you feel like just signing up again to make sure that you have the link, you can do that on my website now. I'll link that below. And I think that's it for now. Love you guys so much. Thank you again for joining me.